A shadow of conflict, Tripoli under fire. The ancient city of Tripoli, Lebanon, once a bustling hub of trade and culture, now finds itself shrouded in the shadow of conflict. Recent events have cast a pall over the city, reminding the world of the volatile situation in the Middle East. An airstrike, attributed to Israel, shook the city, escalating tensions between Israel and Hezbollah. This incident marks a dangerous turn in the ongoing conflict, extending the reach of violence beyond the usual flashpoints. Tripoli, far from the Israel-Lebanon border, now bears the scars of a conflict that seems to know no bounds. The airstrike on Tripoli is not an isolated incident but part of a broader pattern of escalating violence. It underscores the fragility of peace in the region and the ever-present threat of conflict. This latest escalation serves as a stark reminder of the urgent need for a diplomatic solution to prevent further bloodshed and suffering. The human cost of this escalating conflict is immeasurable. Families in Tripoli and across Lebanon live in a state of constant fear and uncertainty. The recent airstrike has only deepened their anxieties, reminding them that nowhere is safe from the specter of violence. Beyond the immediate impact of airstrikes and rocket attacks, the conflict has far-reaching consequences. The Lebanese economy, already fragile, is further strained by the instability. Essential services are disrupted and the flow of goods and people is severely hampered. The conflict's toll on the human spirit is perhaps the most devastating. Generations of Lebanese have witnessed their country torn apart by violence, leaving behind a legacy of trauma and displacement. The international community must recognize the profound human suffering caused by this conflict and work tirelessly to find a peaceful resolution. The escalating conflict has brought key figures into sharp focus, each playing a crucial role in shaping the trajectory of events. Hashem Safieddine, a prominent Hezbollah leader, has emerged as a central figure, drawing the ire of Israel and raising concerns about a potential succession crisis within Hezbollah. Safieddine's prominence has made him a target, with Israel reportedly holding him responsible for orchestrating attacks. His fate and the potential power vacuum it could create is a source of anxiety and speculation. Meanwhile, Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, has issued stern warnings to Israel, condemning its actions and pledging unwavering support for Hezbollah. Araghchi's pronouncements underscore Iran's deep involvement in the conflict and its determination to counter what it perceives as Israeli aggression. His words carry weight, reflecting the complex web of alliances and rivalries in the region. The interplay between these key players will undoubtedly shape the course of the conflict in the coming days and weeks. Section 4, Claims and Counterclaims, a war of narratives. As the conflict escalates, a war of narratives unfolds alongside the physical clashes. Israel claims its military actions are precise and targeted, aimed at dismantling Hezbollah's infrastructure and deterring future attacks. They point to the reported elimination of key Hezbollah figures as evidence of their success, arguing that such strikes are necessary to protect Israeli citizens from the threat of rocket fire. Hezbollah, in turn, frames its actions as a legitimate response to Israeli aggression, portraying themselves as defenders of Lebanon's sovereignty. They highlight civilian casualties from Israeli airstrikes, accusing Israel of indiscriminate violence and war crimes. Hezbollah vows to continue its resistance, promising to retaliate against any further Israeli attacks. This clash of narratives, each side seeking to justify its actions and demonize the other, further complicates the already volatile situation. Section 5, India's plea, a call for dialogue and diplomacy. Amidst the escalating tensions, India has emerged as a voice of reason, urging both sides to exercise restraint and engage in dialogue. Recognizing the potential for the conflict to spiral out of control, India has called for an immediate ceasefire and a return to the negotiating table. India's stance is rooted in its long-standing commitment to peace and stability in the Middle East. India's strategic interests in the region, including its substantial energy imports and a large diaspora population, give its voice added weight. India's call for dialogue is not merely a diplomatic platitude, but a reflection of its deep concern about the conflict's potential to destabilize the entire region. India's stance serves as a reminder that the international community must prioritize diplomacy and peaceful solutions to prevent further bloodshed and suffering. Section 6. Averting the Abyss. The urgent need for peace. The recent escalation in the Lebanon-Israel conflict underscores the urgent need for a peaceful resolution. The airstrike on Tripoli, the rising death toll, and the rhetoric from key players paint a grim picture of a region teetering on the brink. The international community must act decisively to prevent this conflict from spiraling further out of control. Dialogue, not violence, is the only path to a lasting solution. Both sides must recognize that continued escalation will only lead to more suffering and instability. The international community should leverage its influence to bring the parties to the negotiating table and facilitate a meaningful dialogue. The stakes are too high to allow this conflict to fester. The time for action is now. The world must unite in its commitment to peace and work tirelessly to avert the abyss of a wider, more devastating war in the Middle East.